This is the story of Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, or HH Holmes for short. He was an American serial killer, probably one of the first of modern day serial killers, a con artist, and really a downright monster. Famous for his hotel slash murder castle. It was a 3-story block long building, which was essentially solely built to attract young women for him to murder and finger their gutty wats. If Google reviews was a thing back then, his star rating would quite literally be in the gutter with their guts as well. He went to medical school, so he knew a burnt body was near impossible to identify. That stayed with him for life. He started by selling books door to door in Chicago. Using his confidence, he would take people's money with the promise he would send them the books once he got back to Philadelphia, and the books would never come. In 1888, Holmes found a pharmacy in Inglewood, Chicago, with an empty lot across the road. The pharmacy was owned by an old woman whose husband was dying of cancer. Holmes's eyes lit up, the evil within him, and he convinced her he could save her husband with some amusing cure he'd used before. Cut to 2 months later, the man was dead, and Holmes was now talking her into selling him the pharmacy on a payment plan. He never paid her a dime, and once she filed a lawsuit against him, she also disappeared. Now, in the empty lot across the road, he started to build his murder castle, hiring and firing multiple builders, so no one knew the layout of his masterpiece. It was twofold, really. He could keep the house a mystery, but also he could fire people and refuse to pay them, telling them they'd done a downright shoddy bit of work there. Get off the premises, my lad. He hired people to shop in the pharmacy across the road, while inviting potential buyers, making his pharmacy look busy. He sold the pharmacy, and when the new owner moved in, they found the innards of the shop had all been stripped, and across the road there was a gleaming, beautiful new pharmacy on the first floor of the murder castle. Also on the first floor, there were shops and restaurants, a barber's, a jewelry store, anything you could want. But once you got to the second or third floor, there was different altogether to the glitz and glamour of the first floor. These floors had various rooms and lodgings, and Holmes's office, the main office where he could control the whole building. Rooms built with peepholes, gas chambers. The rooms on the third floor seemed normal, but had very weird layout, thin corridors, dead ends, stairs that led to nowhere. There was 51 doors over 6 hallways, all interlocked. All the hallways were running over each other. Only 35 rooms of those 50 doorways. Only of 50 doors had 35 rooms. Most of them were locked from the outside and only accessible to Holmes himself. Some rooms were soundproof, some were airtight, some with gas pipes with controls on the third floor in his office, gives him the ability to kill any guest he felt like. The death rooms had secret corridors that went down into the bowels of the building. They were accessed through hidden sliding doors in the passageways which connected to his cellar. Down there, he would dissolve the bodies in acid or burn them in his furnace that he'd specially made, and then he would sell the skeletons to medical colleges, making a lot of money, probably around 5k in nowadays money. He killed anywhere between 27 to 200 people. Numbers are not really known, but he was undone by an insurance scam, and only ever found guilty of one murder, as the rest were just impossible to prove, lack of evidence. He was executed on the 7th of May, 1896, 9 days before his 35th birthday. One of his final statements saying that he was born with the devil inside me. He was hung by the neck. It didn't break, so he was strangled to death, which took about 15 minutes. And bloody good show. Well, it took 15 minutes, I found. His murder castle was destroyed in an arson attack, and now stands a post office, which is probably haunted.